Hello, everyone. I'm Erin Millar. I'm the co-founder of Indiegraf. I go by the pronouns she and her, and I'm speaking to you today from the beautiful unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. All right. I want to start by introducing you to Danielle Saddleman and Shane Miller, small business owners and Sayilks people of the Okanagan Nation. My hometown is just across the bridge from the reserve where they live, and we went to the same high school. And when we grew up, I never had heard the name Sayilks. The only time journalists showed up in Danielle and Shane's community was when there was a crime or tragedy, reinforcing negative stereotypes and making youth feel like there was no positive future for them. Meantime, this is how the local newspaper treated me, a white settler, when I won a high school music award. In that newspaper, I could see people who looked like me, running businesses and city hall, and I felt like I could do anything. I went on to become a journalist reporting for national newspapers. Then I co-founded a successful community news publisher called The Discourse in an effort to create a model to shore up declining local news. But my co-founder, Caitlin Havlack, and I came to realize that if local news was to truly serve everyone, not just people like us, we needed to change who led, controlled, and ultimately owned the news. That's why we launched Indiegraf, a platform to empower independently owned community journalism. And it was so meaningful for me when last spring, a group of Indigenous women from the Okanagan Valley used Indiegraf to launch a new outlet called Indigenews. And for the first time ever, Danielle and Shane had a platform to share their story of overcoming intergenerational trauma to become business owners and thrive. Indigenews stories are now being syndicated and changing narratives nationally. But most important are comments like this from readers. These journalists are the strong women that I want my daughter to know. Local newspapers have been in decline for decades, and COVID accelerated that trend. There are currently over 2,000 news deserts in the United States alone, leaving local news gaps that are being filled by partisan media pushing misinformation. People who, without access to local news, are less likely to vote, run for office, or even trust their neighbors. Not having news is a form of political disenfranchisement. But the collapse of local newspapers is also a generational opportunity to change who owns the news. Demand for news is still strong. 8 in 10 people seek out local news online every single day. And in the US, consumers pay $72 billion annually on digital news products. Indiegraf is helping independent publishers take advantage of that opportunity. Our platform enables journalists to grow audience and distribute community news content at a fraction of the cost of the traditional business model. We helped 18 publishers in 22 communities so far generate revenue from readers and partnerships that otherwise wouldn't be available to them. And Indiegraf's unique revenue share business model means that our journalists don't need to have a pile of money to become business owners, become media owners. Since launching Indiegraf last year, we've made quality local news accessible to 5 million people in underserved communities. We've secured partnerships with Google, Facebook, and Apple News. And we've raised $500,000 in investment, led by New Media Ventures, thank you very much, to bring this innovation from our home market in Canada to the United States. Today, I'm raising $250,000 to fill out our seed round and fund us to dramatically accelerate how fast we can launch digital journalism outlets in the thousands of news deserts across North America. We'd be thrilled if you joined us in rebuilding a robust local news ecosystem to support the important civic dialogue so badly needed in the next 4 years and beyond.